ankle injury. Now, there was an incident that went down in the early parts of August where assistant coach stepped on her ankle. Now, it didn't look like if it was much, but they didn't say how she sustained the ankle injury. But from us fans doing our research, we realized that that ankle injury was sustained by the assistant coach, allegedly. Now, with that being said, Caitlin Clark appeared on New Heights podcast where she talked about her signature sneaker. She definitely talked about this injury, and she talked about the 2026 basketball season. If it's one player that could fix the WNBA situation right now,
Caitlin Clark has revealed surprising details about her 2025 injuries during a recent podcast appearance. Clark's health setbacks became a significant discussion point throughout sports media channels and online communities. From an outside perspective, questions arose about whether the Indiana Fever adequately managed Clark's recovery and return timeline. Head coach Scott Agnes faced criticism regarding an alleged ankle problem that became the official reason preventing Clark's playoff return. The initial injury involved a groin issue Clark dealt with during July, with expectations set for her comeback toward late August. Unfortunately, that return never materialized due to what was described as an ankle injury. An incident occurred in early August involving an assistant coach stepping on her ankle.
Right now, for all of you guys think there's nothing wrong with the WNBA, there's a big something wrong with the WNBA. Now, do I believe Caitlin Clark is going to have the same star power she once had? No, I don't. I think she had a lot of time off. I believe that what she had leaving Iowa is gone. I think about 70% of the fans are going to return to support Caitlin Clark. The other 30 is gone for good. She would have to create a new enemy, create something to bring those 30% back. I believe the other 30 was probably.
While the moment didn't appear particularly severe, the organization never specified how she sustained the ankle damage. Through fan investigation and research, evidence suggested the assistant coach incident likely caused the ankle problem. Clark appeared on the New Heights podcast where she discussed multiple topics, including her signature sneaker development, injury experiences, and the upcoming 2026 basketball season. If any single player possesses the capability to address current WNBA challenges, Clark represents that possibility. However, significant issues exist within the league that require acknowledgement and correction. Questions remain about whether Clark will maintain the same level of stardom she previously commanded. Extended time away from competition could impact her standing.
Those 30% back, I believe the other 30 was probably MAGA. A lot of MAGA supporters really bought into the Caitlin Clark hype. But with that being said, man, let's head on over to X. Now, pull up these clips, man. We got a bunch of clips to go over here. Shout out to Caitlin Clark all season for always keeping us in tune with everything. CC, this is her speaking about the injury. Let's listen.
It was fun, obviously, to get back out there. It had been a minute. So, it was just obviously a long and, tough year of reoccurring injuries. And, you guys know how that goes. When you get one nagging thing, it kind of leads to another.
What she built during her Iowa career may have diminished somewhat. Estimates suggest approximately 70% of fans will return to support Clark, while the remaining 30% may have permanently moved on. Recapturing that lost audience would require creating new rivalries or generating fresh storylines that reignite public interest. Some of that departed fan base likely consisted of specific political demographics who connected with Clark's narrative but may have lost interest over time. Regardless, examining her podcast comments provides valuable insight. Clark addressed her injury situation directly during the podcast appearance. She expressed enjoyment about returning to action after an extended absence.
Brain injuries, and you guys know how that goes. When you get one nagging thing, it kind of leads to another. So it wasn't obviously how I envisioned it, and it stunk, but we still kind of found a way. Our team, we had 6 of our players go down with injuries. It was unreal, and we still had a great year. Made it to the semifinals, and yeah, we were a game away from the finals, and so that was pretty impressive considering kind of what we went through. But it was a long process to just get back on the court, because when you have the groins and the quads and whatever you're dealing with, it's you don't run for a while, so it's weird learning to run again in a way. And then on top of
the year proved long and difficult due to recurring health setbacks. As athletes understand, one nagging problem frequently leads to another, creating a cascade effect. The situation didn't unfold as envisioned and caused frustration. Despite these challenges, the team discovered ways to persevere. 6 players on the roster experienced injuries throughout the season, creating unprecedented difficulties. Yet the squad achieved a successful year, reaching the semifinals and coming within one game of the finals. That accomplishment appears impressive considering the obstacles faced.
And then on top of that, like going to like play versus the best players again and like just getting tossed out back into the fire. But it was fun. Like, I mean, I probably wouldn't have wanted any other way. Like you get thrown back out there with the best players in the world and you see like you're right where you were before you got hurt. And it was only 3 days. So it was cool. And it was at Duke, which is obviously one of the most historic basketball places ever. So that was a pretty cool thing too. And kind of kicks off like the next cycle for like preparing for the Olympics. And then we have the World Cup in 2026. So at the end,
the recovery process extended longer than anticipated. Dealing with groin and quadriceps issues meant extended periods without running. The experience felt strange, almost like learning to run again from scratch. Beyond physical rehabilitation, returning to compete against elite-level players meant getting thrown back into intense competition immediately. The experience proved enjoyable despite the challenges. The opportunity to compete against the world's best players after injury layoff, confirming ability remained intact after only 3 days back, provided satisfaction. The return occurred at Duke, one of basketball's most historic venues, adding special significance to the moment.
Have the World Cup in 2026. So at the end of September. So we'll actually like pause the WNBA season, very similar like how we do when we have the Olympics right before the playoffs. And then we'll go play the World Cup, which technically the World Cup in the past has almost been harder for us to win because there's more teams that play in the World Cup than qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's harder to win that. So hopefully I'm on the team for that. And obviously my goal is to be on the Olympic team in 2028. So it feels like it's far away, but it's probably actually way closer than it sounds.
This period also marks the beginning of the next competitive cycle, preparing for the Olympics. The World Cup takes place in late September 2026, requiring a pause in the WNBA season similar to Olympic breaks before playoffs. The World Cup sometimes presents greater difficulty than Olympics because more teams participate compared to Olympic qualification numbers. Competition intensity can actually exceed Olympic tournaments. Hopefully securing a roster spot for that competition remains a goal. Obviously, making the 2028 Olympic team represents a primary objective. While that date seems distant, it will arrive quickly.
It feels like it's far away, but it's probably actually way closer than it sounds.
It'll be here as soon as you know it.
It was fun.
So that was her speaking about the Olympics, and that was her speaking about the World Cup. Now, this is her talking about her signature sneaker.
Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish these things grab better. I wish they had a different mold on the bottom of them. Like, were you super involved in that process as well?
Yeah, for sure. And like, obviously I'm pretty like picky about what I wear. Like I like a certain 2 Kobe models. So like I knew whatever I was going to put in my own shoe, it needed to be like the equivalent of that technology or even better. And it's going to be even better. I'm not going to say exactly.
Time passes faster than anticipated. Regarding signature shoe development, Clark expressed specific preferences about footwear performance. Sometimes athletes wish their shoes provided better grip or featured different outsole patterns. Clark confirmed heavy involvement in the design process. She maintains particular preferences about footwear, favoring certain Kobe models specifically. Whatever technology went into her signature shoe needed to match or exceed those standards. The forthcoming shoe will feature superior technology, though specific details remain undisclosed for now.
Be even better. I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I think it'll get people excited about it. And I think even like the Chinese market, like I was talking to some people at Nike, like over in China, like they'll cut open the inside of the Kobe's and like show people the technology that's on the inside of the shoe because they're like that means a lot to them. Like they want to know what they're getting out of the product.
Right.
Wow.
So I thought that was like really fascinating.
Cut that open? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So it better be made well, but it will be.
I was about to say.
I've seen some videos where they'll like cut them in half, and you can like look at like a complete cross section of the whole thing.
The innovation should generate excitement among consumers. Interesting information emerged about the Chinese market's approach to athletic footwear. Nike representatives explained that Chinese consumers will literally cut open Kobe shoes to examine internal technology. They want to understand exactly what they're purchasing, placing high value on product construction and materials. That fascination intrigued Clark significantly. Seeing videos where shoes get cut in half to reveal complete cross-sections demonstrates this thorough approach. Some Kobe models only feature advanced cushioning technology in the heel rather than throughout the entire foot.
24 WNBA draft. She's a 2-time WNBA All-Star, 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, the 2024 Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, and she is the first and now last guest of New Heights in the 2025 season.
Oh, wow. They actually had her first and last for the same year. That's kind of crazy.
Let's go!
92%ers, please welcome back to the show, Caitlin Clark!
I'm back. I'm honored you guys brought me back on. I must have not been too bad the first time, I guess.
Permanent invite.
Clark notices massive differences when wearing those particular models, feeling like running on bare hardwood floors. Those versions prove difficult to wear personally, though other athletes obviously love them. Recognizing the need for consistent technology distribution throughout the shoe became crucial. This consideration became a huge component of the design and creation process, ensuring comfort and meeting specific performance requirements. The technology being incorporated hasn't appeared in any previous basketball shoe. That innovation generates genuine excitement about the final product. Clark essentially desires a revolutionary shoe, something never previously created in basketball footwear.
Honored you guys brought me back on. I must have not been too bad the first time, I guess.
Permanent invite.
That is one of the kind of crazy things, seeing Caitlin Clark back on New Heights, and I think a lot of people are talking about it, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense. It makes a little bit of sense because, do you remember what's been coming recently enough? If you guys don't know why a lot of people do the podcast rounds, why a lot of people start doing podcast rounds, they are announcing something. They're announcing
that ambition reflects high standards and commitment to innovation. The timeline for signature shoe development typically begins well before public announcements. Clark's process started at the end of her senior year at Iowa when deciding which shoe company to partner with. Conversations occurred with Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, with all three offering signature shoe opportunities. Some companies promised faster development timelines than others. Nike's reputation for producing the best products is widely acknowledged, though their process typically requires more time.
something. They're announcing something. And obviously that's not the only reason someone is going to do a podcast, but at the end of the day, it is a big reason. It is a reason. It's a reason why people will do it. And I think a lot of people are speculating that Caitlin Clark is going to announce her new shoe tomorrow. That is the speculation.
Growing up, becoming a Nike athlete represented the dream. Every kid wants Nike or Jordan association. Those brands represent the premier level that everyone recognizes. Custom Kobe designs particularly impress people. Clark even helped connect friends with custom pairs, facilitating those special arrangements. Clark's reasoning for choosing Nike came down to product quality and personal preference.
To announce her new shoe tomorrow. That is the speculation, is that Caitlin Clark is going to be announcing her new sneaker tomorrow, and that it's going to be on the New Heights podcast, which for me makes a lot of sense. It makes a ton of sense. It makes so much sense. It makes way too much sense that she would be announcing her sneaker, because it's set to release in spring. And again, I don't exactly know what month.
Some people assume the decision centered purely on...
And again, I don't exactly know what months are spring in America. I'm blanking on it. What months are spring? Is May in spring? May is somewhere in Ireland. Is May spring in America? Is May spring in America? I think May might be spring. So what they're doing is kind of smart by the sounds of things. It sounds like they're going to be releasing it before the WNBA season. So they're going to be releasing it kind of as a mid-year type thing. And for me, that's
Ultimately, wearing shoes that feel right matters most. That philosophy deserves recognition and respect. Many people criticize that decision, but prioritizing comfort and preference over maximum dollars represents a legitimate choice. The development process has continued for approximately a year and a half, determining exact specifications and features. The most challenging aspect involves creating something unique while ensuring it remains comfortable for actual competition. The approach involves taking familiar comfort elements, like those from Kobe models, while creating something distinctly different and unique to Clark's identity.
Mid-year type thing. And for me, that makes a lot of sense. For me, it makes a lot of sense what Nike are doing. And I do think Nike, in fairness to them, they have done a good job when it comes to it. of having Caitlin Clark, of like this launch for Caitlin Clark sneaker. They have, or like the kind of launch around this. I did a really bad job up to a point of promoting her. Like, it was bad enough that Connor McCaffrey was calling out.
Thinking about what matters personally regarding shoes and sneakers, the concept of chaseability emerges as significant. Wanting specific sneakers or particular colorways drives consumer interest and excitement. That element will likely provide the most enjoyable aspect of the signature shoe project. After establishing the basic shoe mold, technology, and structural components, creating various colorways and collaborating with different brands generates the most excitement. A Chiefs colorway or player-exclusive version is definitely planned for future release. Clark provided substantial details about her shoe development process and vision for the final product.
That Connor McCaffrey was calling out Nike for it. This isn't just like, a Caitlin Clark fan thing. It was bad enough that Caitlin Clark's boyfriend was calling out Nike for how badly they botched kind of everything around Caitlin Clark. And it was like, I can't remember what it was. There was something that happened where it was like, was it All-Star or something? But like I can't remember what the event was when Connor tweeted about it, where it was like,
the combination of injury discussion and sneaker insights offers a comprehensive look at her current situation and future plans. Speculation continues about whether Clark will regain her previous momentum after the injury-plagued 2025 season. The extended break from competition could impact her trajectory either positively or negatively. Rest and recovery might allow her to return stronger, or the time away might have cooled public enthusiasm. Regardless of predictions, Clark's commitment to product quality and performance standards demonstrates professionalism and attention to detail. The signature shoe will represent more than just a commercial product. It will reflect her personal standards and preferences developed through years of competitive experience.
I remember what the event was when Connor tweeted about it, where it was like, maybe it was a triple-double, where Nike tweeted about every other athlete they had signed. Every other athlete that they had signed for like how they started off their WNBA season, other than Caitlin Clark. Like, it was madness. It was absolute madness. But at the end of the day, like, they're not dumb. They have shareholders. Like, they can have whatever bullshit narrative they want, and they can want to push that.
The revolutionary technology promised for the shoe suggests Nike views this partnership as significant and worth substantial research and development investment. As the 2026 season approaches, multiple storylines will converge around Clark, including her health status, team roster composition, signature shoe launch, and overall performance trajectory. Whether the WNBA maintains its relevance and grows its audience depends partially on star players like Clark remaining healthy and competitive. Her ability to draw attention and generate interest proved undeniable during her rookie season. Recapturing and expanding that momentum after injury challenges represents the next chapter in her professional career. The podcast appearance provided valuable insights into her mindset, priorities, and preparation for the upcoming season and beyond.